Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today we are going to be talking about Moonfall. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Uh, this is, well, it is made by Roland Emmerich, this guy right here. You may know him from several different movies, movies that made hundreds of millions of dollars. Movies like Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, and 2012. Those are his big three. His big three. But his claim to fame was Independence Day. That was like the big movie of the 90s, one of the big movies of the 90s. It was like that, Jurassic Park, there's Forrest Gump, there's Lion King, Titanic. But this was like one of the big ones. And yeah, like I mean, these movies like Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow, 2012, they're iconic when it comes to like the genre of disaster movies. Like they are like the ideal disaster movies. Not in terms of plot and character, God no, but when it comes to the visuals and just how much destruction there is on screen, with like buildings coming down, like the world falling apart, big old tsunamis, like all that. Like it is just, I guess some would call it movie magic in a sense. But yeah, like Roland Emmerich, he's made a career out of making big dumb disaster movies, and it's worked out somewhat. But yeah, like if anyone sees a movie with Roland Emmerich's name on it, it's likely going to be a big dumb time. So yeah, so I would consider that a pro, but there's also a con to it, which I'll explain later. But yeah, the man's made three of the biggest disaster movies in history. So yeah. Well, I guess would Independence Day count as a disaster? That's more of an alien movie. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's pro number one. The fact that he's made Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow, and 2012. Pro number two, our cast here is very recognizable. Our main person here is Halle Berry. Halle Berry, she's been quite a bit of stuff. She was Storm in the X-Men movies. She was Storm. It's also a whole lot of stuff. God. Oh, she was in the Flintstones. I don't know if any of you remember that, but she was in that movie. Just wanted to bring that up. She was in Die Another Day, which isn't exactly a great thing. A Monsters Ball, I think that's where she got her Oscar. Yeah, she got her Oscar for that. And then there's Catwoman, a personal favorite of mine for all the wrong reasons, but I find it insanely entertaining for being absolutely atrocious. But yeah, after that, it's just been kind of not great. I mean, I know she was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I know she was in John Wick 3 as like a supporting character. And Halle Berry, she has a lot of geek cred to her name, like she does. Same goes for I think Patrick Wilson. I mean, this dude has a bit of geek cred. Wait, he was in Prometheus? What? I didn't know that. I had no idea. Yeah, this is like the main dude in The Conjuring and the Insidious movies, at least the first two. And in Aquaman. And he was also in Midway, which was also made by Roland Emmerich. So there's that. And he was in Watchmen too as Night Owl. So yeah, this dude has some geek cred to his name, just like Halle Berry. And yeah, the rest like Michael Pena, Donald Sutherland. He was like the dude, President Snow from like the Hunger Games. Michael Pena from I know him from Ant Man, where he was like the best character in that whole movie. So yeah, we got quite a few actors who are recognizable and have major geek cred. So that's a pro. Even though they aren't humongous draws, they're still recognizable. Pro number three, there's been no compelling content in weeks. The only thing that's been remotely compelling was Scream. Besides that, nothing. It's been deader than dead. So, like I said in my Jackass Forever video, people are going to be so desperate for content that they're willing to watch anything. And, well, they got this. They can watch this. So, yeah, lack of compelling content in the last few weeks, I think is a pro. I think it'll benefit this movie. So another pro I can think of. What else? I mean, competition wise, what is the? I mean, I know there's Spider Man, but that's been out for like a month and a half at this point. I think people are getting a little tired of watching the same movie over and over and over again, so they're just low key begging for anything else. But besides Spider Man and Scream, Scream's still out there. There's really nothing for this movie to worry about. There is Jackass Forever, but they're part of different genres, so I don't think there's gonna be too much of a crossover there. And when it comes to like movies down the line, I mean, there is Uncharted, but that's about it for like February. But then there's the Batman, but at that point, Moonfall will just be history. So, um, yeah, like right now, when it comes to competition, there's nothing too extreme out there. So I'll consider that a pro. Um, I guess another pro, there's quite a bit of ads for this movie. I didn't mention this for Jackass Forever, but both movies have a bit of ads for them. I'm seeing them quite a bit. So, yeah, that's good. You know, people know about these movies via ads, they know they exist. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, cons. Reviews for this movie are not good. Like, wow. Surprising, right? Yeah, I mean, it's like at a 43, which is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be like in the 20s or like in the teens. But a 40 is not it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So it won't that score won't kill the movie, but it won't exactly make people watch it either. So, yeah, I'll consider that a con, relative con. Another con, this is a real con, is that Roland Emmerich, it's quite clear his best days are behind him, and there's proof of that. Like, his last big hit was 2012, and that was in 2009, which should tell you a lot. Should tell you a whole lot. Because his last big movie after that was, I mean, there was White House Down, which bombed badly, mainly because it was way too similar to Olympus Has Fallen, and it suffered because of that. And also, that 2013 summer 2013 was like a hell of a summer. It was super competitive, but and it just couldn't stand a chance. The Independence Day resurgence, Roland Emmerich thought, okay, things are going great, but if I just make a sequel to the biggest movie of my career, things will go fantastic. No, they didn't, because Independence Day resurgence bombed, at least in the states, and made about half as much as the first movie. Keep in mind, first movie came out in 1996, sequel came out in 2016. That's a 20-year gap, and that means like in terms of inflation, it's a yikes. It's awful. So that happened. Then 2019, he made Midway, which I don't know if it was super successful. It's hard to say, but it did better, slightly better than expected, but I wouldn't call it a massive hit at all. So, yeah, so things have not been great for Roland Emmerich the last decade or so. And yeah, that's not good. Not to mention, he made Godzilla 1998, which is a permanent black mark on his resume, if you ask me. So, yeah, like Roland Emmerich's track record the past decade, that's an automatic con. That's a big old red flag for me. So, that's con number two. Con number three is that the disaster movie genre as a whole, it's not Eh, it's seen better days. It has definitely seen better days. I mean, I'm gonna try looking up disaster movies here. I don't think Skyscraper counts. We're talking like large scale disaster movies. It's not on here, but there was a geostorm. If anyone remembers it, I doubt any of you do. But um, Geostorm. It started like Gerard Butler. It was very Roland Emmerich esque, but it wasn't made by him. It was made like a buddy of his, a collaborator of his, Dean Devlin. That was like in 2017. That movie just did horrendous, and yeah, is a big old yikes. Yeah. Besides that, I'm trying to find. There's San Andreas. That did very well, but that was like a summer movie that starred The Rock, and it had a lot more going for it. Into the Storm, that was like a found footage esque movie with tornadoes. So yeah, trying to find some other ones. Da-da-da. I'm really scrolling here. There's 2012 right there. Disaster movie. Oh, no, I'm not gonna even go near that. But yeah, like back in the 90s. I mean, look at this. I mean, there's Twister. There's Dante's Peak. There's Volcano. There's, I guess, Titanic would be labeled a disaster movie. There's Deep Impact, Perfect Storm. I guess that would count. The Core, Day After Tomorrow. Like there was a ton of disaster movies like in the early-ish 2000s and the late 90s. And it's kind of died recently, and it doesn't help that we've seen like so many disaster movies that people have kind of gotten bored of them to an extent. Like we've seen all of this before. We've seen certain buildings and certain bridges and certain monuments getting destroyed before. So it's kind of just like boring in a sense. I mean, it might look cool, but there's no like wow factor like there once was. So yeah, so yeah, the whole disaster movie genre is not it's not at its peak. It's far from its peak. So I consider that a con. Another con I can think of, I mean, its Thursday performance is that's terrible. There is no putting it lightly. That's a terrible number for like a Thursday debut. So that could be an omen for what's to come for this movie. And not to mention, this movie's stupid expensive. It's like $150 million. It was an independent production, so Lionsgate, I think they only have to pay like a fraction of that. So they're gonna be relatively off the hook. But yeah, like the chances of Moonfall making back that money are like so astronomical. It's just so low that it's a disaster waiting to happen. But yeah, I think that's it with cons. Yeah, yeah. So opening weekend. Ooh. uh, I don't know. I mean, looking at Roland Emmerich's last few movies for comparison's sake, we gotta find them here. Okay, Midway opened with like it. Oh, it doesn't say it. Midway opened with like 17 million. Okay, and that was like pre-pandemic. Well, technically the pandemic was kind of happening already, but no one really knew about it until like at least January of 2020. But yeah, Midway was like it was close to 18 million. So that could be a good number for Moonfall to hit, but oh yeah, I just thought of this. I gotta find it. Geostorm. I'll find it. I gotta search for it. Geostorm. Okay, Geostorm. That opened with like 13 billion, which is a big yikes. And I think Moonfall can easily hit that. If it can't, if it goes lower than that, then God help it. But uh yeah, it should at least reach that. So I'm gonna go with the range of I don't know 15 million. I'm going with 15 million opening weekend, and its total between 30 and 40, maybe higher than that. I don't know. That's what I'm sticking with. So 15 million opening, 30 to 40 million total. It's gonna be a big old bomb, and that's the end of that. It'll be our second big bomb of 2022. Our first was the 355, but this is on a much, much bigger scale, so it's gonna look a whole lot worse. So yeah, that was Moonfall. Next up, I'm doing Wolf and the Lion, I guess. I don't know why, but it's a wide release, and I'm obligated to do wide release movies. So yeah, it'll be the next one. And then that's it for this weekend. The next weekend I have three more movies. Got Blacklight, got Death on the Nile, and Marry Me. Then after that, I have Dog and Uncharted, and I guess The Cursed. Maybe, I don't know. And then the last weekend of February, there's Siren. It doesn't matter. And then finally, we won't have anything remotely interesting until the Batman. But that's March 4th, which feels like a lifetime away. So we gotta get through February if we're gonna get to, actual, you know, movies that millions and millions of people are gonna see. So yeah. Anywho, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. Got playlists on the homepage with all previous prediction videos I made this year, all including this one, 7 of them. But it's building, it's increasing in video when it comes to videos. So it'll only be a matter of time before it actually gets kind of bulky. So, but if you want to watch those videos or any other prediction videos I made, like 2019, 20, and 21, just go to the playlist tab and you'll find them with ease. So you can go do that. There's also the Cancel series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I only covered Moonfall once, and that was when it actually got its date of February 4th. So it was always meant, I don't know if it was always meant, but it was intended, once production started and everything, it was intended to come out in 2022, and that's what happened. They stuck with the date, which rarely happens ever. So, yeah, so I forgot which episode that was. I think it was in the 60s. One of the, yeah, it was in the 60s. I forgot which number, but yeah, oh yeah, I think I covered that with, well, I didn't have a picture for it because nothing existed yet, but I covered that with like Infinite and Peter Rabbit 2. So that video, you'll see images of Infinite and Peter Rabbit 2, so you can find that if you want. And also watch all the other canceled episodes. Like there's 104. Go nuts, go wild. You have more than enough to choose from, so go do that. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. The January recap is coming soon. School's kind of preventing me from doing it sooner, but it will come with relatively soon. I promise you that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.